Awesome. Okay. All right. So, are we saying who are we? Sure. All right, who are we?
We already said that we were instructors at PSU. We're also really passionate about integrating the work that we do in the classroom with the work that we do in the community, and both of us experience ourselves as integrated activists and purveyors of love. Is that good enough? Sure. Okay. We've also been very close friends for a lot of years.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And we're excited because we don't get to teach together very often. So this is a super precious opportunity for us.
And I think also in our feminist practice, and I think we recognize that feminism is about practice, and how thinking about how to put it into motion and into action. And we combine anti-racism as a key part of our work, and that we recognize that we are challenging oppression in its many forms. Do we have enough for everyone here?
How many more people need a copy? Just for, I'll make a quick couple copies.
Great.
And because we are, we're interested in figuring out ways to do this in community, we're not just going to be looking at the historical sense of where feminism has gone awry in its anti-blackness and its lack of anti-racist politic. We are going to, we're going to think about ourselves as missionaries. We're going to do some work together to think about what our own perspectives are around feminism and our own ways of broadening that politic and that thinking, so that we can figure out what that would look like. And in order to do that, we have to figure out how to create the kind of space that we want to create so that we can take good care of each other in the process. So we have some strategies for that that were new to me in this teaching. So I love these particular ones that Roberta added to my thinking, which is the 9 healthy ways to communicate.
And these are from Li Munhua of Stir Fry Seminars. And Munhua is a Chinese-American cultural counselor. And he spends a lot of time bringing people together across difference to have deep conversations about the things that divide us. And what he found was that you bring people together and people would say, I believe in respect. And then the conversation hits a place of conflict and respect goes out the window and people get locked into whatever their positions or experiences are. And he said he found that people needed skills to think about how you engage more deeply. And so he developed these 9 healthy ways to communicate. And each skill is essentially a tool, right? So if you think of these as things that you can practice and develop and work on as you move through through our time together today, but also to take with you. So if we can just read them to put them in the room. Right? So we'll just popcorn style, just read them out loud.
Reflect back what is being said, use their words, not yours.
2.
Begin where they are, not where you want them to be.
3.
Be curious and open to what they are trying to say.
4.
Notice what they are saying and what they are not.
5.
Emotionally related to how they are feeling, nurture the relationship.
6.
Notice how you are feeling. Be honest and authentic.
7.
Take responsibility for your part in the conflict or misunderstanding.
8.
Try to understand how their past affects who they are, excuse me, and how those experiences affect their relationship with you.
9.
Stay with the process and relationship, not just the solution.
Great. do you have any questions related to these?
109 sounds kind of create a process of relationship without just a solution.
Tell me the thought. Tell me the thought.
So you say it's the process of relationship, like you might have a conflict, to stay in that part of it, and not focus on the other part?
So what that is saying is, what I think about is that if you have a project to do, sometimes you'll focus on, this is the end result, like this is what we want this project, and we may not be thinking about what is our relationship as we are trying to get this done, and what's our process around how we're getting this. That we might get stuck just focusing on where we need to go, and there's actually work between us that we need to do to help us get there. So what we want to think about is, when I say to my students, I believe we're going to make it to the end of the term and we're going to do it well. And I hold that. And I know that there might be some bumps in the road, so let's hang in with each other, and let's hang in with what we're doing here, and we're going to get there. Does that make sense? Yeah. How about two others? No?
Are there other strategies that you would like to add that are not included in this list? Things that you need to be able to make this room feel ideal for you today, aside from enough chairs. That might be one that we could add. Seating. What else might we add? Anything else?
One that I have is accept non-closure. So moving from courageous conversations, that the conversation isn't finished when we leave the room, and that I accept that as part of our process.
That can be a hard thing to do when we live in a culture of Hollywood endings. This work is a marathon, it's not a sprint. We're going to be in it for a really long time. It took our whole lives plus some to get this way, and it's going to take our whole lives plus some to unget this way. So it really will be helpful if we can be like, okay, it's not ready packaged yet, but I'm still in it and I'm still at it. That's really important for us.
Yes.
I would add something like be tough on the issues but easy on the person or people.
Tough on the issues, easy on the people. Yeah. And, easy on the people doesn't mean that we don't push each other, but it does mean that we recognize that we are not each other's enemy. Right? That we value each other, and that if we are serious about moving towards liberation, it requires an appreciation for each other.
Another one back here? Yeah.
This is kind of half-formed, but I was just in a meeting where someone left. And we couldn't dialogue anymore. I mean, it was a group. So I don't know how that fits in, but something about stick around.
Yeah, hang in.
Yeah.
And that's also where stay with the process and the relationship fits. Right? Yeah.
I appreciate the last one, but also remember to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
If there's an issue that's too much for you, definitely make sure that you're in a safe space first.
Yeah. Yeah. Though we acknowledge, we're not in a safe space. Right? But we're in a classroom. It's not a safe place. And, which also makes it really important, to take care of ourselves. What I also invite is to sit with discomfort. Right? So we recognize that if we are learning anything, you are stepping out of your comfort zone. I feel like you stepped out of your comfort zone when you decided to come here. Right? Which is awesome. And that learning can be, stepping out of our comfort zone can be exciting and exhilarating, and it can be unnerving, can be scary, can raise anxiety, right? Can cause us grief, And that's part of learning.
And one thing that's specific to this workshop today, and for the work that we do, those of us who do identify as white, when we think about sitting with discomfort, what happens for many of us, if the more privileged identity categories to which we belong, the more likely it is we are to conflate being uncomfortable with being unsafe. Because if you never feel uncomfortable, then when that starts to happen, it's like, oh my heck, there must be danger. And there are lots of people, because of our relationship to race and racism in our country, who almost never ever feel comfortable. We're always made to feel uncomfortable. So some compassion and some empathy and some recognition of that is really valuable, and also a sense for our own selves of what that means when we feel uncomfortable. To say, am I unsafe or am I uncomfortable is a really good question. I wouldn't say that we would do that for everyone, because people have different experiences with their lives that make them feel uncomfortable and unsafe for various reasons, for trauma and all kinds of things. So it's not a recipe for everything, it's just a sense for people to really check in with. Am I actually in danger? Am I really unsafe, or am I just uncomfortable? What does that mean for me? And when we can really be honest with ourselves about that, we can get a lot further in the work. We can also ask for help and support, and we can also sit with moments of being feeling a little bit prickly and a little off. And that's important to be able to do too. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I know. All right, to get a little rough sometimes. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to talk about feminism. So if we can agree, can the room mostly agree with what we've got for the strategies? Yes? Jazz hands? Jazz hands or spirit fingers? Okay, great.
Do you want to talk about what you want to do if people don't all agree with those? If people don't agree to these guidelines or expectations, or how the community wants to handle that?
Well, I'd love to hear if they don't agree, and what solutions do they put forward? Yeah.
In situations like this, we've used ouch before, if somebody feels really hurt by something and not necessarily wanting to contend the issue, or just letting.
Just an ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm just gonna acknowledge.
Yeah,
Ouch.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Anything else?
Is there anyone who's I can't agree to these for whatever reason? Feels reasonable?
Okay. Great. All right. So,
other thing I just wanted to say, I wanted to invite anybody who wants to stand up in the corner in front of the camera is more than welcome to. I know that we had some people who said, I don't want to be filmed, and we've had that. So we can't make them turn off the camera, but if you want to stand up in front of it, that might be an okay thing to do. Okay, we want to talk about feminism. That's our next.
all right. So, something to think about for us is, and I also want to not give.
Is this acceptable at your college? Or is this the kind of behavior that you condone?
Okay. All right. So in pairs, you all can also do this exercise. So your job is.
I think we had a
what
question,
is-
sorry.
Yeah, sure.
You had a question for the president?
No, I just think it might help the kind of situation, just if he could explain why he's here, or what the filming is for. If it's
I'm an independent reporter. I'm a blogger.
Yeah.
I run a
So
YouTube
bloggers
channel.
also write. Right. So writing about this is great.
So are you just
Filming
for
it is
yourself?
not.
or
We didn't
just
want
for-
PCC to film it, and we don't want you to film it.
Is this an acceptable environment here on your campus? Yes, this is. I'm asking this guy because he's an official for the college.
And I'm not
He doesn't control me.
in giving, in being silenced, right? And so we recognize that one of the ways that we center whiteness is that we are silenced by it. So, moving on, 2 minutes, find a partner, and please find someone who is not your buddy already.
How about you and I partner?
Not
Okay? You and I. Let's partner.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Don't you touch me.
I didn't touch you.
You did.
I'm stepping backwards and you rammed into me just now. Don't do that.
You leaned right into me.
Okay, all right, so we all
Yes, so the activities now.
Obviously, they don't respect my space over here. You just encourage them to encroach on my space.
And we heard you.
She didn't, I did.
2 minutes. So you are now going to find a partner.
Is this acceptable practices here on your campus?
What
We are
is
trying to
feminism?
protect everyone's safety, yours included.
One of you folks share.
So surrounding me with 8 people is...
Right now, I'm actually offering to partner with you to do the activity.
And I'm actually going to leave the room. Thank you very much. Howdy. Oh, all these people are surrounding me and they're starting to bump into me.
Okay, clap once if you can hear me.
I'm going to leave right
Clap
now.
twice if you can hear me. So, one of you is going to speak for 2 minutes.
Howdy.
Hey, how's it going?
It'd be going a lot better if they weren't intimidating me in there. The speakers are encouraging people to surround me and intimidate me and block my camera. Is that acceptable behavior here on this campus?
That's acceptable behavior. They're standing room only. They can stand where they want.
No, people were getting up out of their seats. The speakers were encouraging people to come to me and surround me and block my camera.
Okay.
Is that behavior acceptable here on campus?
It's acceptable, sure, it's acceptable.
Oh my God.